You walk through the front door, you drop your keys in the bowl. The metal clatter echoes for a second, and then silence. You let out a breath you didn't even know you were holding. A long, heavy exhale. You loosen your collar, you kick off your shoes. You walk to the couch, the one you spent 3 weekends researching to make sure it was perfect, and you sink into it. It holds you. It supports you. You pick up your phone, check the notifications, see nothing urgent, and you open Netflix. You tell yourself, I earned this. Pause right there. That exact moment, that specific feeling of relief, that thought, I earned this, is the precise moment your wealth began to die. You think I'm being dramatic. You think I'm attacking your downtime. You think everyone needs to rest. And you're right, everyone needs sleep. But you aren't sleeping to recover. You aren't resting to sharpen your blade for tomorrow. You are sedating yourself. You are using comfort as an anesthetic to numb the reality that you have stopped climbing. Look at your last 24 hours. Really look at them. You went to work. You did what was asked of you. You sent the emails. You attended the meetings. You didn't screw up. You maintained the status quo. And now you're home, safe in your temperature-controlled box, believing that because you didn't lose ground today, you're safe. Wrong. While you are sinking into that couch, convinced that good enough is a destination you've finally reached, someone else is starving. I want you to visualize them. Right now. They are 5 years younger than you, or maybe 10 years older. It doesn't matter. What matters is that they are terrified. They don't have the couch. They don't have the safety net. They have a knot in their stomach that won't go away, a biological alarm screaming that they are not safe. And because they are not safe, they are dangerous. While you are scrolling through social media, looking at someone else's vacation, this person is dissecting your industry. While you are watching a documentary about a billionaire, they are building the system that will put your department out of business. They are awake. They are caffeinated. They are reading the white papers you skimmed. They are learning the software you said you'd get around to. They are hunting. And you are grazing. This is the uncomfortable truth about your comfort zone. It is not a fortress. It is a feedlot. You have convinced yourself that wealth is a static thing. You think that once you reach a certain salary, a certain savings account balance, a certain title, you can switch to maintenance mode. You think you can just cruise, but the economy doesn't cruise. Inflation doesn't cruise. Technology doesn't cruise. Every second you spend in this state of comfortable paralysis, your value is decaying. It's simple math. The world is getting faster, smarter, and more efficient every single day. If you are standing still, you are effectively moving backward at 100 miles an hour. You look around your life and you see stability. I see a target. You have a routine, don't you? A perfectly optimized routine designed to minimize stress. You take the same route to work. You buy the same coffee. You talk to the same 5 people. You solve the same problems you've been solving for 3 years. You are an expert at your current level, and that expertise is a trap. Because when you are comfortable, you stop improvising. You stop taking risks. You stop asking what if, and start asking what's for dinner. Think about the last time you felt actual visceral fear regarding your career. Not the anxiety of I hope I don't get fired, but the terrifying thrill of I don't know if I can pull this off, but if I do, everything changes. How long has it been? 6 months? 2 years? Never. If you can't remember the last time you felt that fear, your wealth isn't just dying. It's already decomposing. You look at the Forbes list. You look at the guys driving the cars you want, the primal, visceral want, not the that would be nice want. You see them and you tell yourself a story. You say, they got lucky. Or, they must be unhappy. Or, I prefer balance. That word. Balance. It is the favorite word of the mediocre. It is the shield you use to protect your ego from the truth. You simply aren't willing to suffer anymore. You were hungry once. Remember that. Remember when you had nothing. Remember when you had to calculate the cost of gas. Remember when you stayed up until 3 o'clock a.m. because you had an idea that wouldn't let you sleep. You were dangerous then. You were expanding. You were grabbing territory. But then you got a little bit of comfort. You got the salary. You got the lease. You got the subscription services. And the hunger started to hurt less. So you stopped feeding it. Now, you prioritize convenience over conquest. You choose the easy meeting over the hard confrontation. You choose the existing client over the cold call. You choose the known path over the jungle. And here is the dark psychology of what is happening to you right now. Your brain loves this. Your brain is evolved to conserve energy. Your brain wants you to sit on that couch. It releases dopamine when you choose the path of least resistance. It rewards you chemically for being average. Your biology is conspiring against your bank account. You feel good right now because your survival instincts are satisfied. But your wealth instincts, they are screaming. Because money flows to value, and value comes from solving hard problems. And you cannot solve hard problems from a place of comfort. Comfort softens your hands. It slows your reflexes. It dulls your vision. You are sitting in a warm room, convincing yourself you are a king in a castle. But outside the walls, the barbarians aren't just at the gate. They are burning down the bridge you walked in on. And the worst part, you're so comfortable you can't even smell the smoke. Your comfort zone is where your ambition goes to die quietly, without a funeral, suffocated by soft pillows and streaming services. And while you rest, the world is transferring the wealth you could have had into the hands of someone who is willing to be uncomfortable. You confuse movement with progress. This is the most dangerous lie your comfort zone tells you. You look at your calendar. It is full. You look at your to-do list. It is long. You feel the stress in your shoulders, the fatigue behind your eyes, and because you are tired, you assume you are climbing. Wrong. You are not climbing. You are spinning. You are running on a treadmill at a 10% incline, sweating through your shirt, heart pounding, convincing yourself you are going somewhere. But when the machine stops, you are in the exact same spot where you started. Let's look at your workday. Really dissect it. You sit down at your desk. You open your email. You see 20 unread messages. You feel a little spike of adrenaline. A task. You spend the next 2 hours replying, forwarding, CCing, organizing folders. You clear the inbox. You feel a surge of satisfaction. I am productive, you tell yourself. No, you are not productive. You are reactive. You spent the prime energy of your morning, the hours where your brain is sharpest, doing janitorial work for other people's agendas. You didn't build a new revenue stream. You didn't design a new product. You didn't acquire a new skill. You just moved digital paper from one pile to another. This is the anatomy of stagnation. You have traded creation for administration. Wealth is created by building things. It is created by solving new, expensive problems. But building is hard. Building is risky. Building requires you to stare at a blank page and feel stupid. So what do? You retreat to the comfort of maintenance. You maintain the spreadsheet. You maintain the client relationship. You maintain the code. You do the things that have a guaranteed outcome because your brain is terrified of the things that don't. You have become a caretaker of your own life, not the architect of it. And then comes the weekend, Friday, 5 o'clock p.m. The psychological shift is instant. You don't just stop working, you power down. You treat the weekend like a hospital stay. You need to recover. You need to disconnect. You go out for drinks. You complain about the week. You bond with your friends over how tired you are, how annoying your boss is, how the system is rigged. You create a feedback loop of comfortable victimhood. I deserve a break, you say, ordering the second round. Meanwhile, the person who is coming for your spot, the person who wants the wealth you claim to want, to them, Saturday is just another Tuesday. They aren't trying to escape their life. They are trying to build a life they don't need to escape from, while you are sleeping in until 10 o'clock a.m., nursing a headache and scrolling through Instagram. They are 4 hours deep into a side project. They are learning how to leverage AI while you are using it to generate funny pictures. They are reading the books you bought 3 years ago and left on your nightstand to collect dust. You buy the books, don't you? That's another symptom. The purchase as progress trap. You feel a little pang of inadequacy. You know you're stagnating. So you go to Amazon. You buy the book on investing. You buy the premium course on dropshipping. You buy the new ergonomic chair. You buy the journal with the inspirational quote on the cover. Clicking buy now gives you a hit of dopamine. For a split second, you feel like the kind of person who reads that book. You feel like the kind of person who starts that business. But when the box arrives, you put it on the shelf. And there it sits, a monument to your good intentions. You consumed the idea of growth without suffering the pain of growth. You are addicted to the simulation of progress. You talk about your plans. You tell people what you're going to do. You love the feeling of announcing the goal. I'm thinking about getting into real estate. I'm going to start a podcast. People nod. They say, good for you. You soak up that praise. You feel validated. And because you already got the validation, you lose the hunger to actually do the work. You spent the energy talking about the mountain instead of climbing it. This is how your comfort zone kills your wealth. Softly, quietly, and with a smile. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens in the micro decisions. The decision to watch the next episode instead of writing the proposal. The decision to order takeout instead of meal prepping to save capital. The decision to stay in the job you hate because the benefits are decent. You are slowly, methodically building a cage. The bars are made of salary. The floor is made of benefits. The lock is made of fear. And inside that cage you are safe. Nothing can hurt you, but nothing can grow there either. You look at the wealthy and you think they have some secret. You think they know something you don't. They don't. They just have a different relationship with discomfort. They seek the friction you are spending your entire life trying to avoid. You have optimized your life to remove friction. You have heated seats. You have food delivery apps. You have automated bills. You have noise-canceling headphones. You have built a frictionless existence. But friction is the only thing that creates fire. And without fire, you cannot forge anything of value. You are cold, you are comfortable, and you are slowly becoming obsolete. You check your bank account. You see the number. It's the same number as last month, maybe a little higher. You feel a sense of calm. I'm stable, you think. I'm holding steady. Pause. That number is a liar. While you are staring at that screen, feeling good about holding steady, the ground beneath your feet is turning into quicksand. You are suffering from a cognitive blindness that is destroying your future. You think stability is neutral. You think if you don't move, you stay in the same place. Wrong. In a universe governed by entropy and an economy governed by inflation, standing still is a mathematical impossibility. You are either growing or you are dying. There is no third option. Let's talk about the invisible fire burning down your house right now. You know about inflation. You complain about the price of eggs. You make jokes about gas prices. But you don't understand personal inflation. You don't understand that the cost of simply existing as a relevant human being is skyrocketing, and your steady income is gasping for air. Your skills, they are rotting. Remember that software you mastered 5 years ago, the one that got you hired, the one you're comfortable with. A kid in a dorm room just wrote a script that does it faster, cheaper, and without needing a coffee break. While you are protecting your turf at the office, guarding your little fiefdom of tasks, The market is deciding that your entire role is redundant. You are an expert in a dying language. You are the best typewriter repairman in 1995. You are the captain of a ship that has already been scrapped, but nobody has sent you the memo yet. You think you have time. You say, "I'll learn AI next year. I'll start the side hustle when things calm down. I'll invest when the market stabilizes." The market never stabilizes. The market is a living, breathing predator. It evolves. It sheds the weak. It devours the slow. And right now, you are slow. You are betting your entire financial future on a world that no longer exists. You are betting that the company will be loyal. You are betting that the pension will be there. You are betting that your industry won't be disrupted. That is not a bet. That is a delusion. Look at your phone. Look at the apps. Look at the speed of information. Every single notification is a reminder that the world is accelerating. And what are you doing? You are slowing down. You are seeking work-life balance in a world that is running at Mach 10. You want to unplug. Fine. But don't be surprised when you plug back in and realize the socket has changed and you no longer fit. This is the Red Queen effect. In Through the Looking Glass, the Red Queen tells Alice, "Now, here you see, it takes all the running you can do to keep in the same place." Read that again. To stay exactly where you are right now, to keep your current lifestyle, your current purchasing power, your current relevance, you have to run, you have to adapt, you have to learn. But you aren't running. You're sitting. You are treating your career like a parking spot. You pulled in, you turned off the engine, and you think you own the space. But the meter is running. The fines are stacking up, and the tow truck is already around the corner. You feel safe because the paycheck hits every 2 weeks. That direct deposit is the most dangerous drug on the planet. It sedates your panic. It tells you someone else is taking care of it. But who is taking care of it? A CEO who has never met you. A board of directors who would fire you to save a rounding error on a quarterly report. A violently shifting economy that doesn't care if you have a mortgage. You have outsourced your survival to entities that do not love you. And deep down, you know it. That's why you have that low-level anxiety on Sunday nights. That's why you get defensive when someone younger and hungrier gets promoted. You feel the obsolescence creeping in. You feel the cold draft of irrelevance. But instead of fighting it, you buy a thicker blanket. You buy more comfort. You retreat further into the cave. You tell yourself, "I'm just waiting for the right opportunity." Opportunities don't knock on the doors of caves. Opportunities are hunted. They are dragged down in the open field. They are seized by people who are willing to bleed for them. You are not bleeding. You are numb. And that numbness is the feeling of your wealth evaporating. Not just your money, your potential wealth. The millions you could have made, the equity you could have built, the legacy you could have left. It is all dissolving, second by second, while you decide which show to binge-watch next. You're watching your own financial funeral in slow motion, and you're too comfortable to even cry about it. You are a depreciating asset. Every day you do not upgrade your operating system, your value drops. Every day you choose comfort over challenge, your stock price crashes. If you were a company, would you invest in you? Be honest. Would you put your life savings into a business that hasn't launched a new product in 5 years? A business that ignores market trends? A business that prioritizes employee happiness over survival? No, you'd short that stock. You'd bet against it. So why are you long on yourself? You are not lazy. You are a biological success story, and that is exactly why you are failing financially. Let me explain the trap wired into your DNA. For 200,000 years, your ancestors survived by conserving energy. They didn't hustle. They didn't grind. If they found a cave with a fire and a mammoth carcass, they didn't leave to find a bigger cave. They stayed. They ate. They rested, because outside the cave was death, cold, predators, starvation. Your brain is still running that software. It is programmed for scarcity. It rewards you with dopamine, the feel-good chemical, every time you choose the path of least resistance, every time you sit on the couch instead of going to the gym, every time you scroll instead of read, every time you procrastinate instead of execute. Your brain whispers, "Good job. You are safe. You are saving calories. You are alive." But you don't live in a cave anymore. You live in a hyper-capitalist, digital economy where safe is a death sentence for your ambition. The mechanism that kept your ancestors alive is now the exact mechanism keeping you poor. It's called homeostasis. Your body fights to maintain a stable internal state. Temperature, pH, blood sugar. It hates change. It hates disruption. And guess what wealth requires? Massive disruption. Wealth requires stress. It requires risk. It requires late nights, early mornings, uncomfortable conversations, public failure, and the terrifying unknown. So when you try to start that business, when you try to ask for that raise, when you try to learn that new skill, your biology screams, "Stop." It triggers anxiety. It triggers fatigue. It triggers doubt. It floods your system with cortisol, the stress hormone, to force you back to the baseline, back to the couch, back to the job you hate but understand. You interpret this biological resistance as a sign that you shouldn't do it. You think, "This feels wrong. I'm not ready. It's too hard." No. It feels wrong because you are fighting millions of years of evolution designed to keep you average. You are at war with your own nature. The people who win, the people whose lives you envy, have hacked this system. They have learned to interpret that biological scream not as a stop sign, but as a compass. When they feel the fear, they lean in. When they feel the urge to quit, they double down. They have rewired their dopamine receptors to crave the struggle, not the safety. But you surrender to the biology. You let your feelings dictate your future. "I don't feel like it today. I'm just not in the mood. I'm too tired." Of course you're tired. Your brain is making you tired on purpose to keep you in the cave. You think you lack discipline. You don't. You lack the understanding that your comfort is a biological weapon used against your potential. You are a slave to your impulses. You see a notification. You click. You see a dessert. You eat. You feel tired. You sleep. You are a stimulus response machine. A glorified amoeba reacting to its environment. Wealth is not built by reaction. It is built by intention. It requires you to override the default settings of your own mind. It requires you to tell your biology to shut up and sit down while you do the work that scares you. But you have spent years reinforcing the seek comfort loop. You have trained yourself to be weak. Every time you choose the easy option, you strengthen the neural pathway that says, "Easy is good." You make the groove deeper. You make it harder to climb out next time. You are physically altering your brain structure to be mediocre. You are building a neurological highway to poverty, and the worst part, it feels good. It feels safe. It feels balanced. But nature doesn't care about your balance. Nature cares about survival of the fittest. And in the modern world, fitness isn't just about muscles. It's about adaptability. It's about resilience. It's about the ability to endure discomfort in pursuit of a distant reward. If you cannot delay gratification, you cannot build wealth. Period. If you cannot suffer voluntarily today for a payoff 5 years from now, you will always be a servant to someone who can. You are trading your future freedom for a little hit of dopamine right now. You are selling your birthright for a bowl of soup. You think you are being kind to yourself. You think self-care means bubble baths and binge watching. Real self-care is doing the things that your future self will thank you for. Real self-care is discipline. Real self-care is looking at your biology in the mirror and saying, "Not today." But you don't do that. You listen to the whisper. You succumb to the urge, you stay in the cave, and outside the hunters are eating. "I just want balance." That's what you say. It sounds virtuous. It sounds healthy. It sounds like something a therapist would nod at approvingly. Work-life balance. It's the battle cry of a generation that has been sold a lie. Pause. Who sold you that lie? Was it the billionaire who built the platform you're scrolling on? Was it the CEO of the company you work for? Was it the athlete you worship? No. The people who win at the highest level, the people whose lives you secretly envy, do not have balance. They have obsession, they have focus, they have tilt. When Elon Musk was sleeping on the factory floor, was that balance? When Serena Williams was hitting serves until her hands bled, was that balance? When Bezos was packing books in a garage on his knees, was that balance? No, it was effective. But you want the rewards of the obsessed with the schedule of the comfortable. You want the portfolio without the panic attacks. You want the legacy without the loneliness. You have bought into a cultural script that tells you ambition is toxic, that hustle culture is bad, that you should prioritize wellness over winning. And while you are busy prioritizing your wellness, someone else is prioritizing your job. Society loves a balanced citizen. A balanced citizen is predictable. A balanced citizen pays their taxes, buys their consumer goods, watches the approved shows, and dies quietly without making a fuss. A balanced citizen is a cog that fits perfectly in the machine. You are being domesticated. You are being trained to be a pet, not a predator, and you love it. You love the permission to be average. You love the validation you get for setting boundaries. I don't check emails after 5 p.m. I don't work weekends. I need my mental health day. Fine, set your boundaries, protect your peace, but understand the trade-off you are making. When you choose balance, you are explicitly choosing not to be exceptional. You are choosing the middle. You are choosing the median. You are choosing to be part of the herd that gets slaughtered when the economy turns. Because here is the brutal truth about the economy. It does not reward balance. It rewards value. It rewards scarcity. It rewards the people who do what others won't. If you do what everyone else does, work 9 to 5, watch Netflix, sleep 8 hours, repeat, you will get what everyone else gets, which is mediocrity, which is anxiety about bills, which is a slow, creeping realization that you never lived up to your potential. You think you are being smart by not burning out. You think you are playing the long game, but you aren't playing the game at all. You are sitting on the bench, critiquing the players, telling yourself, "At least I'm not tired." And you are right. You aren't tired. You are rested. You are comfortable. You are inconsequential. The market doesn't care about your rest. The market cares about your output. And let's be honest about what you do with your balance. Are you using your free time to meditate, to connect deeply with your family, to create art, to volunteer, or are you using it to consume? You finish work at 5 o'clock. You have 5 hours before bed. That's 25 hours a week. That's a part-time job. That's 1,300 hours a year. What did you build with your 1,300 hours last year? Did you learn a language? Did you code an app? Did you write a book? Did you get in the best shape of your life? Or did you just exist? You poured 1,300 hours of potential energy down the drain of entertainment. You donated your most valuable asset, your time, to companies that monetize your attention, and you call that balance. I call it surrender. You are not balancing your life. You are diluting it. You are watering down your ambition until it is tasteless. You are spreading your energy so thin that it has no impact anywhere. You are a master of none. And in a specialized world, the generalist is the first to go. The people who build wealth go all in. They go through seasons of intense imbalance. They sprint. They obsess. They ignore the laundry. They miss the parties. They forget to eat. They pay the price. And because they pay the price, they get the prize. You want the prize without the price. You want the outcome without the input. You are a tourist in the land of ambition, taking pictures but refusing to climb the mountain. So stop lying to yourself. Stop calling it balance. Call it what it is, a choice. A choice to be comfortable. A choice to be safe. A choice to be average, and if that's what you want, fine. Own it. Be proud of your mediocrity. But don't you dare complain when the person who chose imbalance, who chose obsession, who chose the grind, buys the company you work for and lays you off because your balanced output isn't profitable enough. Don't look at their success and say, "It must be nice." It isn't nice. It was hard. It was ugly. It was unbalanced. And that is exactly why they have it and you don't. Right now, at this exact second, there is a person out there who wants your life, not your current life, the mediocre, comfortable one you're living. No, they want the life you think you deserve. They want the promotion you're waiting for. They want the market share you're sitting on. They want the lifestyle you have pinned on your vision board but haven't worked for in 6 months. And here is the terrifying part. They are going to get it. Why? Because while you are reading this, they are working. While you were debating whether to order Thai or Italian for dinner, they were dissecting a contract. While you were scrolling through TikTok for a dopamine hit, they were optimizing their sales funnel. While you were complaining that the algorithm is unfair, they were figuring out how to break it. They are the wolf at the door, and you didn't even lock it. You operate on the assumption that there is enough for everyone. Abundance mindset, you call it. That's cute. That's a nice bedtime story to tell yourself so you don't feel the pressure. But the economy is not a nursery school. It is a coliseum. And in the coliseum, there is only so much space at the top. There are only 400 spots on the Forbes list. There are only so many penthouses with that specific view of the skyline. There are only so many limited edition supercars produced each year. You think those things are dreams. You think, wouldn't that be nice? The wolf doesn't think it would be nice. The wolf thinks it is necessary. This is the fundamental difference in your psychology versus theirs. To you, success is a preference. To them, it is oxygen. You are interested in being wealthy. They are committed to it. And because they are committed, they are dangerous. You are sleeping 8 hours a night because you read an article about sleep hygiene. They are sleeping 4 hours because their ambition won't let them turn off. They are fueled by a terrifying, burning inadequacy that you can't even comprehend. They look at the car you want, the matte black Porsche, the G-Wagon, the Phantom, and they don't just admire it. They calculate the monthly payment. Then they calculate the revenue required to cover it. Then they break that down into daily targets. And then they hit those targets before lunch. You just put a picture of it on your phone wallpaper. See the difference you are visualizing. They are executing. And here is the hardest pill to swallow. You are financing their dream. Every time you buy a product because it's convenient, you are paying them. Every time you subscribe to a service because you're bored, you are funding their IPO. Every time you click an ad, you are putting a brick in their dream house. You are the consumer. They are the creator. You are the prey. They are the predator. You think you are competing with them. You aren't even in the same sport. You are playing badminton in the backyard. They are fighting in the UFC. And the reason they are going to win is because they are willing to do the things you find distasteful. You think sending cold emails is annoying. They send 500 a day. You think self-promotion is cringe. They are building a personal brand that dominates your feed. You think working on weekends is toxic. They see Saturday as the day they get ahead because the competition, you, is at brunch. They are hungry. Viscerally, painfully hungry. And you're full, you're satisfied. You have a roof, you have food, you have Wi-Fi. You are comfortable. Your comfort is the vacuum that invites them in. When you slow down, you create an opening. When you decide this is good enough, you are practically rolling out the red carpet for them to step over you. You might say, well, I don't want to be a billionaire, I just want to be happy. Fine, be happy. But don't be surprised when your happiness gets disrupted because your company got acquired by the wolf and they decided your role was inefficient. Don't be surprised when the rent in your happy neighborhood doubles because the wolves are moving in and driving up the prices. You cannot hide from the winners. The world is shaped by them. The laws are written by them. The future is built by them. And right now, you are letting them build a future where you are merely a tenant. You are sitting there, wrapped in your blanket of excuses, telling yourself that hustle culture is a scam. Tell that to the guy who just bought your dream house. Tell that to the woman who just took your client. Tell that to the kid who just launched the app that makes your job obsolete. They aren't listening to your excuses. They can't hear you. The sound of their grinding is too loud. You won't always pray. You used to hunt. Think back. There was a time when your senses were sharp. A time when you could smell an opportunity before anyone else saw it. A time when your instinct wasn't just a quiet murmur. It was a scream. Maybe it was when you were broke and had to figure out how to pay rent in 3 days. Maybe it was when you were trying to impress someone out of your league. Maybe it was when you were the underdog, the new kid, the one with everything to prove. Back then, you were alive. Your brain was scanning the environment constantly. Where is the leverage? Who is the decision maker? What is the angle? You were dangerous because you were desperate. But then, you got fed, you got the job, you got the raise. You got the apartment with the nice view, you got the relationship, you got comfortable. And the moment you got comfortable, your hunting instinct started to atrophy. It's simple biology. Use it or lose it. When you don't need to hunt to survive, your brain reallocates resources. It shuts down the expensive, high-energy surveillance system that kept you sharp. It dims the lights. It puts you in cruise control. Now, you walk into a room and you don't scan for opportunity. You scan for the snack table. You don't look for the person who can change your life. You look for the person you already know so you don't have to feel awkward. You have become domesticated. You used to be a wolf. Now you are a golden retriever. You sit when told. You speak when spoken to. You wait for the bowl to be filled. And the tragedy is you think this is maturity. You think this is settling down. No, this is giving up. This is the death of your edge. When was the last time you took a risk that made your hands shake? When was the last time you pitched an idea that could get you laughed out of the room or promoted to the top floor? When was the last time you disagreed with the boss because you knew you were right? You don't do those things anymore. You play it safe, you nod. You agree. You dilute your opinions until they are palatable to everyone. You have become beige, and in a world that rewards bold colors, beige is invisible. You tell yourself, I'm just being strategic. I'm picking my battles. Bullshit. You are avoiding conflict because conflict is uncomfortable. You are avoiding rejection because rejection hurts. You are avoiding failure because failure is embarrassing. But do you know what hunting is? It is failure. It is rejection. It is conflict. A predator fails 9 times out of 10. But that one success feeds them for a week. You are so afraid of the 9 failures that you never even attempt the hunt. You would rather starve slowly on a steady diet of mediocrity than risk the pain of missing the kill. And because you stopped hunting, you stopped seeing the game. Opportunities are flying past your face every single day. That problem your client complained about, that was a business idea. You just apologized and moved on. That article about a new technology, that was an investment thesis. You just scrolled past it. That weird request from your boss. That was a chance to create a new role for yourself. You just complained about the extra work. You are blind to the gold rush happening around you because you are looking at your feet. You have trained your brain to filter out opportunity. You have trained it to see only tasks. I have to do this report. I have to answer this email. I have to attend this meeting. You are an employee in your own life. You take orders from your calendar. You take orders from your inbox. You take orders from your fatigue. But the hunter takes orders from nobody. The hunter imposes their will on the world. The hunter looks at a chaotic market and sees a feast. You look at a chaotic market and see a headache. The difference isn't intelligence. The difference isn't talent. The difference is appetite. You have lost your appetite. You are full on cheap dopamine and easy wins. You are stuffed with the empty calories of comfort, and a full predator is a lazy predator. You might think, I can turn it back on whenever I want. If I really needed to, I could hunt again. Can you? Can a marathon runner who hasn't run in 5 years just wake up and run 26 miles? No. Their muscles have wasted away. Their lungs have shrunk. Their tolerance for pain has vanished. The same thing has happened to your ambition. The neural pathways for risk-taking, for resilience, for aggressive action, they have withered. You have let them die. To turn them back on now would be agonizing. It would mean waking up the part of you that you sedated years ago. It would mean facing the fact that you have become soft. And you don't want to face that, so you stay in the cave. You tell stories about the old days when you were hungry. You watch movies about people who take risks. You live vicariously through the characters on the screen, but you are just the audience. You are the spectator in the arena, watching the gladiators bleed, eating your popcorn, safe in the stands. And somewhere deep down, a part of you is screaming. A part of you remembers what it felt like to be in the ring. A part of you misses the taste of blood. But you just turn up the volume on the TV and drown it out. Let's play a game. Let's jump in a time machine. Set the dial to 10 years from today. You step out. You look in the mirror. Who do you see? Be honest. If you change nothing, if you keep hitting snooze, if you keep choosing the safe path, if you keep prioritizing comfort over growth, who is staring back at you? You see a person who is tired. Not the good tired that comes from building something meaningful. The bad tired. The soul-crushing fatigue of regret. The exhaustion of pretending you are happy when you are actually numb. You are still in the same role or one just like it. Maybe you got a cost of living raise. Maybe you got a slightly better title. But your autonomy, gone. Your passion, extinguished. You are a decade older, but not a decade wiser. You are a decade heavier, slower, and more cynical. And then you look out the window, you see them, the people you started with, the ones who were too intense, the ones who were obsessed, the ones you secretly judged for working too hard. They are running the world. They are launching companies. They are writing books. They are traveling to places you only visit on Instagram. They look vibrant. They look alive. And the worst part, they aren't smarter than you. In fact, you remember helping them with their homework. You remember fixing their mistakes. You remember thinking, I have more natural talent than they do. But talent is cheap. Talent without hunger is a tragedy, and you are a tragedy in slow motion. You will spend the next 10 years telling yourself stories to justify your inaction. I prioritized my family. Did you? Or did you just come home and scroll on your phone while they were in the other room? I didn't want the stress. Is the stress of mediocrity really less than the stress of ambition? I'm happy with what I have. Are you? Or are you just terrified of wanting more and failing to get it? These are the lies that comfort whispers in your ear to keep you docile, but the truth will eat you alive. The truth is that you had potential. You had a spark, and you suffocated it with pillows. You traded your destiny for a subscription service, and a comfortable chair. Think about the conversations you will have in 10 years. You will be the person at the dinner party talking about what could have been. You will be the person giving advice you never followed. You will be the cautionary tale, not the hero. I almost started that business. I had that idea years ago. I was going to invest in that. Almost. Was going to. The vocabulary of the defeated and your children. What will they see? They won't see a conqueror. They won't see someone who pushed the boundaries of what was possible. They will see someone who settled. They will see someone who was afraid, and they will learn from you. They will learn that it is better to be safe than to be great. They will learn that dreams are for other people. They will inherit your fear. Is that the legacy you want to leave? A legacy of comfort? A legacy of good enough? You are currently writing the biography of a nobody. Every day you choose the path of least resistance. You are writing another page of a boring book that no one will ever read. But here is the good news. The pen is still in your hand. You can change the ending, but you have to change the plot now. Not next year. Not when things calm down. Right now. You have to decide that the pain of regret is worse than the pain of discipline, because the pain of regret weighs tons. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. You are choosing the tons. You are choosing to carry the heavy, crushing weight of unfulfilled potential for the rest of your life, just so you don't have to carry the light, sharp weight of effort today. That is insanity. You are prioritizing your present self over your future self. You are letting the toddler in your brain make decisions for the adult you will become. And the adult you will become is going to hate you for it. They will scream at you from the future. Why didn't you try? Why didn't you fight? Why did you give up so easily? And you will have no answer. You will just have your comfort zone, your small, safe, suffocating box, and you will realize too late that it wasn't a comfort zone at all. It was a coffin. You have a specific reaction when you see someone winning, don't you? Be honest. You see the guy in the gym who is in perfect shape. You see the woman who just closed the $1 million deal. You see the kid who bought the Lambo. And what do? You scoff. You roll your eyes. You make a little joke to your friend. Must be nice. Probably inherited it. I bet they are miserable deeply down. I'd rather be happy than rich. Pause. Do you realize how pathetic that sounds? Do you realize that every time you criticize someone for succeeding, you are screaming your own insecurity to the world? You are using moral superiority as a sedative. You are telling yourself that because you are poor or middle class, you are virtuous. And because they are rich, they are evil or lucky or unhappy. This is the sour grapes defense mechanism. You can't reach the fruit, so you decide it must be rotten anyway. But deep down, in the dark part of your mind at 2:00 a.m., you know the truth. The fruit isn't rotten, it's sweet. And you are starving. You hate them not because they are bad people. You hate them because they are a mirror. They reflect exactly what you could have been if you hadn't given up. They are the physical manifestation of your wasted potential. When you see their discipline, it reminds you of your laziness. When you see their courage, it reminds you of your cowardice. When you see their freedom, it reminds you of your cage. So you attack them. You try to bring them down to your level. Because if you can convince yourself that success is toxic, then you don't have to feel guilty for being a failure. It is a brilliant psychological trick. It protects your ego perfectly, but it destroys your future because you cannot become what you resent. If you subconsciously link wealth with evil or unhappiness, your brain will sabotage every attempt you make to get it. You will self-destruct right before the finish line because your identity cannot handle being one of them. You have to stop lying to yourself. You want the car. You want the house. You want the freedom to fly private. You want the ability to pay for your parents' health care without looking at the price tag. Admit it. There is no shame in wanting it. The shame is in wanting it but being too cowardly to work for it. The shame is in sitting on the couch, criticizing the people in the arena. You look at the hustlers and you say, they try too hard. Yes, they do. That is the point. They try. You don't. You wait. You hope. You wish. You are a spectator in your own life, throwing popcorn at the players because you are jealous of their jersey. And here is the hardest truth of all. They don't even know you exist. They aren't thinking about you. They aren't worried about your criticism. They are too busy building the world you live in. Your envy is a one-way street. It burns you. It consumes your energy. It rots your soul. And what do you get in exchange? A momentary feeling of smug satisfaction, a fleeting sense of at least I'm not like that. Congratulations. You have successfully defended your comfort zone. You have successfully argued for your own limitations. And now you get to keep them. You get to keep the struggle. You get to keep the budget meetings. You get to keep the anxiety. You get to keep the envy. Is it worth it? Is the comfort of your ego worth the price of your life? Because that is the trade you are making. You are trading your actual life, the one you could be living. For the right to feel superior to people who are winning, you need to flip the script. Instead of hating them, study them. Instead of dismissing them, dissect them. What do they know that you don't? What do they do that you won't? They found a way to escape the gravity of average. You are still stuck on the ground, looking up, complaining that the rocket is too loud. Stop looking at the sky and complaining. Start building your own engine. But that requires you to drop the ego. It requires you to admit, I am not where I want to be and it is my fault. That is a painful admission. It hurts. It burns. But that burn, that is the feeling of your potential waking up. That is the feeling of the sour grapes rotting away and leaving you with nothing but raw, naked hunger. And hunger is the only thing that will save you. You have spent years suppressing that hunger with excuses. I'm not greedy. I'm realistic. I'm content. Lies. All of them. You are not content. You are comatose. Wake up, so here we are. The end of the line, you have read the words. You have felt the sting. You have seen the mirror. And now you have a decision to make. This is not a rhetorical decision. This is not a mental exercise. This is a binary choice that will define the rest of your life. You are standing at a fork in the road and you cannot stay where you are because remember, staying where you are is moving backward. Option A, the sedative. You close this. You put your phone down. You take a deep breath. You say, that was intense. And then, you go back to your routine, you go back to the couch, you go back to the job that pays you just enough to keep you quiet, you go back to the friends who complain about the economy, you go back to the weekend binges, you choose the comfort. And if you choose this, I want you to know exactly what you are signing up for. You are signing up for a slow, quiet decay. You are signing up to be a battery for the system, used up, drained of energy, and then discarded when you can no longer hold a charge. You will have moments of happiness, sure. You will have vacations. You will have nice things. But you will always have that itch. That low-level hum in the back of your skull telling you that you are capable of more. And you will spend the next 40 years drowning that hum with alcohol, entertainment, and distractions. You will watch other people less talented than you, people you grew up with, ascend to heights you were too afraid to climb. You will watch them buy the freedom you claimed you wanted, and on your deathbed, you will not regret the things you did. You will regret the comfort you refused to leave. You will realize that your safety was the most dangerous thing in your life. That is option A. It is waiting for you. It is warm. It is soft. And it is a trap. Option B. The burn, you decide right now that you are done with good enough. You decide that comfort is not a goal, it is a threat. You look at your safety net, your excuses, your backup plans, your balance, and you light a match. You burn the boats. This is an ancient military strategy. When an army landed on enemy shores, the commander would burn their own ships. Why? Because if the soldiers knew they couldn't retreat, they fought like demons. They had to win or die. You need to create that necessity in your life. You need to manufacture a crisis. Commit to something you aren't ready for. Invest the money you are scared to lose. Set a deadline that makes you nauseous. Quit the habit that sedates you. Force your biology to wake up. When you remove the option of retreat, your brain stops looking for the easy way out and starts looking for the only way out. Through. This path is not comfortable. It is terrifying. You will lose sleep. You will lose friends who don't understand your new intensity. You will fail. You will look stupid. You will be tired, but you will be alive. You will feel the electricity of the hunt returning to your veins. You will sharpen your claws on the friction of the real world. You will stop watching the market and start moving it. You will trade the illusion of safety for the reality of power. Wealth does not come to those who wait. It comes to those who attack. It comes to the people who look at a comfortable bed and choose the cold floor because the floor keeps them awake. It comes to the people who look at a steady paycheck and see a ceiling, not a floor. You have to decide if you want to be the person who watches history or the person who makes it. You cannot do both. You cannot be a comfortable conqueror. You cannot be a safe revolutionary. You cannot be a balanced billionaire. You have to choose. Are you going to let your potential rot in the gentle embrace of your comfort zone? Or are you going to step out into the cold, harsh, beautiful storm of your own ambition? The world is moving. The clock is ticking. The wolf is at the door. He is hungry. He is relentless. And he is coming for your spot. Are you going to open the door and let him take it? Or are you going to become the wolf? The couch is right there. It looks so inviting. But remember, that is where your wealth goes to die. Get up right now. Do not wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow is a lie. Do one thing, one scary, uncomfortable, irreversible thing in the next 10 minutes. Send the email. Buy the domain. Book the ticket. Fire the client. Break the pattern. Shatter the glass. Your life is waiting for you on the other side of fear. Go get it.